Rest isn't a luxury for me anymore. It's a medical necessity. So why? Why does it feel like betrayal? Uh, Welcome back if you're joining me here as I'm on this journey of being a licensed mental health therapist who's recently diagnosed with an autoimmune disorder. Uh, I'm actually in the process of getting prepared to do a body injector, a biologic for my body to help my body calm down from working too hard. And whenever I do that, I always in a place where I can't really move. I can't do too much. I only have to rest. And this is reminding me of a time where my husband and I, we had just came back from a trip. Trip was lovely. We really enjoyed ourselves. And we took a ride to go pick up my dog. And from the people who watch our dog, and they live out of town, and I was driving, and I just said, I need to pull over. He's like, what? I said, I need to pull over. And I love driving. I'm the long distance driver whenever we go on a trip. Okay. I said, I need to pull over. He's like, you okay? I said, I feel like I'm falling asleep. This is in the middle of the day, like, I don't know, 12, 1, something like that. And we got out the car, switched seats. So thankful for my husband. And I was asleep. And I could not believe it. I was knocked out. I kept trying to force my body to get up, to stay up because like I've never been that person to sleep on road trips since I was a kid. I always stay up. And so I was fighting and fighting, and I literally could not stop my body from just slipping back and going into sleep and losing consciousness. Ah, not a fun experience. In those moments, I felt like, I'm not showing up the way that I was supposed to show up for my husband, the way that he knows me, the way that he met me, the way that I've always operated in our relationship. I'm not showing up that way. And I felt like my body was betraying me. I'm like, girl, get it together, girl. Come on, let's go, let's go, let's go. And I just was just sinking further and further back into consciousness. It's scary. Thankfully, that's happening less often. I'm noticing that that's a time when my blood pressure just kind of crashes and I can't. So this becomes a spot where, sometimes I definitely feel like my body is betraying me. But then sometimes I also feel like I'm betraying those that I love and that I care about. And I might lose my Black woman card because we're known for working hard. We're known for making the impossible possible. We're known for working our Black girl magic. And if you have a trauma history, Black girl magic comes at a cost. I've written a lot of checks on my body and I feel like they're all being cashed like all at once. And so I'm like, oh, body, come on, girl, come on. Come on. So sometimes I feel like I'm betraying my ancestors. When I take a look at my genogram and I look at the amazing women who have come before me and the things that they accomplished, I look at my grandmother who started a food pantry in New Orleans. I look at my great grandmother, who did all kinds of mission work for folks and helping and feeding the poor and teaching children. I take a look at my mom, who not only held the family together as, again, Army brat. So as our family moved around, she was the glue to help hold our family together. When she divorced my dad and eventually remarried, she held this blended family together. There were 6 of us kids. And then my grandmother moved in with us. So I watched the women in my family do absolutely phenomenal, amazing things. My great aunt Evelyn, who's still living, is celebrating her 100th birthday this year. She just turned 100 a couple months ago. So I come from a long line of women with tons of Black girl magic, get things done, make sure that you look good and it looks effortless all at the same time. And I'm in a place where I can't do it anymore. I can't do it. And so when you say things like you can't, it looks like it's a cop out. It looks like you're being lazy. It looks like it's intentional. It looks like you're being passive aggressive. And when my body says it can't, it's not because I don't want to. It is because it can't, because it just can't. No ands, ifs, or buts about that. And so when you're used to being the thing and you're used to that's part of how people see you, that's part of how people know you. And then all of a sudden you can't do the thing anymore, it it causes all of my stuff to get kicked up. And I know it causes other people's stuff to get kicked up too, which is why I hear comments of like, "Ooh, well, you're still resting? That you're not getting much accomplished, Virginia." Or, "Ooh, you're not gonna host us? Virginia, that's quite lazy of you. Ooh, Virginia, you don't have anything that comes to the plate. Oh, I'm busy. I don't have time to hang out or get together." It's like, okay, you learn throughout life. Growing up as a Black girl, you learn that a lot of your worth and your value is based upon how well you can show up at a place, how well you can do a thing, how effortlessly and gracefully, with tons of strength, can you go and do the thing? I can't do the thing anymore. And I'm at a place as a therapist, I know that I have worth. I know that I have value beyond that. And I've got two Black girls that are my daughters. And I have taught them that they have worth. And I have taught them that they have value. And I taught them that they don't have to do all the things to be loved. But it is really, really hard. Just because mommy's not saying that doesn't mean the world's not saying that. I watched my youngest last year in school. She said that she was popular in school, and more power to her. I never was popular, so more power to her. You do your thing, girl. Do your thing. And I didn't realize it, but I was like looking at her backpack, helping, making sure she's got things that she needed for school. And I was noticing different things in her backpack, like different souvenirs that we had from trips, or when goodness, we got her these new tennis shoes. She really wanted these certain tennis shoes. I'm not a tennis shoe person. She is a tennis shoe person. Okay. Bought her these really specific tennis shoes for her birthday one year and got them custom made, and like that was her present and she loved it. So like she's bringing in parts of that to like show her friends. Like when I won't let her wear it, this is I'm like maybe this is not something you go play on the playground and like this is like a dress tennis shoe. This is something you go look cute in, okay? Um, she was like showing her friends at school and bringing things from our house to show people. And yesterday, her school had like a little party for a play that she was in. And so she was bringing Oreos for the thing. And so about 3 packs of Oreos. Because I'm like, okay, surely this will be enough for all the kids that are in that play. Um, Before they were getting ready to walk out the door, I saw my beautiful daughter put one of the packs of Oreos inside of her lunchbox. And I said, "Baby, why did you put that in your lunchbox? That's for the party. What are you doing?" She's like, "Oh, I brought it to share with the girls at the lunchroom table." And I just sat her down and said, "Honey, you have to have friends who love you for you and not because you brought something cool for snack or something cool to share with everybody at lunch." I get it. I was your age before. I, I get it. I really do get it. And I also know that if you continue to invest in that as your identity, where that leads you later, and I don't want that for you. So I'm like, you can still take the Oreos to school, but I need you to put the Oreos in the bag for the party supplies. Please take them for the party. Now, what does she do? I have no idea. Am I going to go back and check? I am not going to go back and check. But you know why? Because I don't have enough energy for that. So feel free to do all the mom judging you would like. I don't have the energy for it. So again, that's just one of those things that when I can't, I just can't. And even if I could, I don't know that I would. I don't know. I don't know because I'm not in that situation, so it's hard to know, right? So I'm trying to teach them right now that your worth, your value, your identity is not based upon the work that you do, how great you can look, how you can dance for those around you or entertain folks or provide for folks. Because here's the thing, there's such a thing as fair weather friends. And all of a sudden, when you can't perform and you can't do the thing, a lot of those folks are going to be gone. And so, why put a lot of investment? Why put your eggs in that basket? Why put a lot of eggs in that basket? If you're going to choose to do that, more power to you. But why put a lot of eggs in that basket? So what does rest look like for me now? If you have not seen my slow start video, please feel free to watch that. Just in terms of like how I start my mornings really nice and slow. That's just a must for me. Rest doesn't always look like the way that I think people feel like it should. One of the ways that I find rest and have found rest, the best illustration for me was actually when I was having my oldest child. Oh, and I was preparing to have her, they talk a lot about contractions and resting in between the contractions. And I'll never forget, I was, they hooked me up to all the monitors and things, and I'm having contractions. And I'm watching the monitor, and the monitor kind of goes up like this. And no, essentially saying that the contraction is like peaking, so to speak, and I'm probably going to be in a lot of pain. And then all of a sudden, it would kind of go back down a little bit. And then there would be like a little plateau that it would go back up and down. Okay. So, as a Black woman, I did a lot of research of birth and birthing and Black women and healthcare because I've heard of so many horror stories and also seen my mom's horror stories with just having me and my siblings. So, I learned that one of the magics of birth, so to speak, one of them, I'm definitely not an expert at it by a long shot, is that the mom needs to relax. Like you need to be able to relax your body. And I don't really know how to do that. So I took a lot of time as I was pregnant with my first child to try to really practice and learn how to do that because I didn't want to have a traumatic birth story just like my mom had. I just didn't want that for myself. I didn't want that for my baby. So as the contractions were kind of peaking, I just allowed my body to just tense. I just did because it hurt. It's bad. Like I just allowed my body to tense. And then when I saw the monitor start to go down, I just started giving myself permission to breathe and just like really releasing the muscles. I practiced doing lots of stretches with releasing the muscles in my hips and my pelvic floor, my jaw. And then I'm kind of got a little plateau, and then I'm start kind of going back up again. And for me, the whole time, the pain felt the same. So I'm like, this monitor is a liar. But I'm like, this is what the birthing books say. This is what I'm going to try to do. I'm going to try to figure out how to learn how to rest my body during contractions. And I'm thankful that I did because it gave me the endurance that I needed to be able to sustain the laboring process. And so that's something that I'm trying to teach my kids in terms of I'm not saying that you're not going to need to work hard. I'm not saying that you're not going to need to find ways of killing it, grinding when you need to grind in terms of being able to reach whatever goals that you're trying to reach. Sometimes we just have to work really hard at it. And there's nothing wrong with that. The problem is a lot of times for Black women, we don't have an on switch. We don't even have a dimmer. Our dimmer is broke. It's just broken up. So it's like, okay, you gotta learn how to bring it down at different times and to bring it back up to have some sense of flexibility. And so that's what I'm trying to teach my kids. But I still can't help all of the socialization, all of watching these amazing women in my life, that when I'm trying it for myself and for my own nervous system, sometimes it just hurts and it just doesn't feel the most natural. So I am trying to find ways of just being able to be patient with myself and specifically with an autoimmune disorder, like there's all kinds of times that you don't realize you need extra rest. Sharing a little bit earlier that I'm on this expensive medication that's this biologic. And a lot of times I would just try to keep going in terms of my routine because I know I tend to my energy dips around 2. So I'm like, okay, let me just kind of do everything that I need to do. I'm gonna go ahead and get it done. And then when my energy dips around 2, I'll be good. However, when I take that medication, my energy dips like within an hour afterwards. So usually have to go to sleep. I can't drive. I can't get up. I can't do anything. My body's just and so I have taken some time just this week to get myself ready and prepared, making sure my family had some things that were pretty easy in terms of food, because I know it adds additional stress on my husband when I'm not able to clock in, so to speak, in terms of the parenting game. I've already planned since I can do it at home and I don't have to have a nurse with me. I've already planned to try to take that medication right in the evening. So kind of get things done in terms of the day. I had went with my body worker today. Just a weight train this morning, took my dog for a walk. I ate a piece of some lovely dairy-free cheesecake that I have, dairy-free, gluten-free cheesecake that I have from a cute bakery that I love. So I ate it at home when I didn't have to share it with anybody because everybody was gone. So, I'm taking some time, I'm drinking my tea, but I know that time is coming up for me to take that medication. And so my plan is to take it this evening so that I have some time for my body just to kind of chill, rest, crash. And this weekend, I'm planning on things just being really easy and even keeled for myself. So I can so I'm not fighting against my body in terms of allowing the medicine to come in and to try to help me on a cellular level. I actually got that advice from a fellow Sweeney mom. So I'm so thankful for her. And it's good to just have friends, right? To have friends that are with you when things are good, when things are not so good. It's good to have those types of friends where you don't have to perform, you don't have to put on the show. And it's also good that if you're a parent like me, that you not only are practicing the thing within yourself that you want your kids to learn, because kids learn best by what they see us doing, not so much by what we tell them to do. Okay. So it was just really helpful for me to be able to build a community that is reinforcing this idea of like you can just be you and you're not worth just what you can put out to that might sound like just trying to be funny or crude. And that definitely wasn't my intention. But it's just the raw, honest truth. So my hope is that if you're in a similar boat that I'm in, that you're able to fight against some of the socialization, fight against some of the intergenerational trauma that brings some of that shame, that brings some of that guilt on us. So when we try to rest, we beat ourselves up, we feel really guilty, we can't allow the medicine of the rest to send into the nervous system. Rest itself is not restorative. So, especially when we're fighting it. So, my hope for you is that you're able to allow yourself to kind of come out of some of that conditioning so that when you do rest, you're not fighting against your body. It is restorative. If you're not subscribed to my channel, I ask that you would take that time to do that. That helps me out and helps my family out so much. My name is Virginia. I'm a licensed mental health therapist who's recently diagnosed with an autoimmune disorder. And thank you so much for the time that you spent with me today. Please take good care of yourself.